I'm Lawrence here at St. Al's. What we're going to discuss today is how to lock a breaker out. Now the first thing to make sure is the breaker is in the off position. As we do that, we go ahead and install our hasp, and each individual employee needs their own actual lock. So I'm going to go ahead and install mine. Notice I have a lock and I have a tag. This key here is just for this lock. So I will keep that in my person. As we're working on a gear downstairs, we're going to go ahead and tear that out. So here we go. We're going to lock it out and then keep the key. Now David here has to have his own lock in case he's working on it and I end up leaving and take my key off. That way nobody can energize the gear downstairs and then actually electrocute him. If I re-energize the gear and you're downstairs, you have your tools across it, or you're on it, electrocution can happen. So David, go ahead, put your lock on there. You got your tag. And then you keep your key. Don't give your key to me. But we also say that you notice here is I've got my name and I've got my phone number so they can get a hold of me in case they want to turn it back on with all the employees clear. And then we go ahead, call me, I'll come get my lock off. Make sure all my tools are out and everything else downstairs so that we can go ahead and re-energize the equipment. The other thing we have to do after this is we need to go log it in the book when we actually locked it out and then when the lockouts are actually removed. As we discussed, when we put the lockouts on, we need to come into the control room here and actually in the logbook log it. As you can see here, what we do is we put the date, we locked out the critical switch gear, and basically it's behind the control room. The next thing we're going to do is test the gear and make sure it's de-energized before we start working. Now we've got our locks on. So now that we've locked the breaker out upstairs and we've logged in the logbook that we have locked that breaker out, we're ready to come down here and do some testing on this equipment before we work on it. So what we need to do is use two different sources to make sure that this actually is de-energized before we work on it. Here's one meter right here. You can see this one here is proximity. So yes, it lights up if we have electric current there, and we do not. So now we'll use our other meter and make sure that we're the same way. And we do not have it on all three legs. So now we're ready to work on it.